Shopify. Sign up for a free 14-day trial at shopify.com/play. Go
for that. And what you're describing is something else.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN Plus. Bart and Hahn.
When you quit and you tell your wife you're going to do something not once but twice and you decide to go back on your word, there are consequences to those actions. And he looked like maybe, man, like things ain't all copacetic in his life right now. Yikes. And he ain't gelling right now. If he's not gelling, they need him to gel. Because, yeah, we expect him to be able to win games, but I told you already, I believe that this is the Saints' division to win.
Bart and Hahn, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN Plus.
He's phony, she's fake. That's the type of people I hate.
Most shows say buy or sell, but we're not most shows. This is Real or Not Real.
Wait a minute, who's real? Who's not?
That's the kind of people I hate was the last line. Now, apropos of nothing, the quarterback carousel, who could be on the carousel next year? Shannon, are you doing this?
I will start with you. Real or not real, Tua will be on the quarterback carousel next offseason. What you got, real or not real? Next season, after this season, what you got?
I think he's going to be on the quarterback carousel. I do. It's lined up a lot of different ways. These things can happen. We just saw Jimmy Garoppolo re-sign with the San Francisco 49ers, take a reduction. There's a no-trade clause. There also is a no-franchise tag clause. Who came from the San Francisco 49ers? McDaniel, the head coach. You think he has some familiarity with Jimmy Garoppolo? Let's start that rumor right now, Tyreek Hill.
This is not real. I have confidence in Tua. He's 13-8 as a starter. Last year, he didn't have great protection. They had one of the worst rushing attacks in the league. Didn't have a lot of wide receiver options outside of a rookie and Jalen Waddle. I think this team is more complete, and I think he has the accuracy to make them the second best team in the AFC East.
They might be the best team. Who knows by the end of the year? I think Tua is going to be a good quarterback, but I'll say this. I think this is real because Tom Brady might be available next year. Like we do, and there may be others. Drew Brees, I think his best comp is Drew Brees. If you look early at their careers, their size, their style, how they were thought of coming out of college, all this kind of stuff. Drew Brees, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Drew Brees. I'm just saying there's a comparison there.
Every college football season, Goodyear knows the importance of winning on the road. The road will always demand confidence. The confidence to handle whatever the journey brings and to perform under tough conditions. And just like the players and fans of college football, Goodyear is ready. Are you ready for the road? Visit Goodyear.com to find the right Goodyear tires for whatever road you're on this season. Goodyear. More driven.
Kick off football season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code PLAY to get in on the action. You can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code PLAY. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53334 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee, 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming, or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Cavaliers make a trade with the Jazz to get Donovan Mitchell.
Utah wanted R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and 3 first-round picks from New York.
Would you give up 3 unprotected first-round picks to get a solid number 2?
Yes.
You would give up that much?
Wow. Do you know how hard it's been for the Knicks to get that guy?
It essentially came down to New York not wanting to part with Quentin Grimes with R.J. Barrett.
You guys wanted Donovan Mitchell to be part of your franchise. Now he's not there. And like the jilted lover that comes back and says, well, I didn't like her that much. Yes, you did. You were in love and she walked away.
What's good with you on the unofficial into the summer when it comes to 2022 this Labor Day weekend. It is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max presented by Progressive Insurance with Keyshawn Johnson. I'm Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Radio, also on the ESPN app. And listen to KJ on your smart speaker. Just say play ESPN Radio. I'm just going to quote the tweet. These are the bleeping Knicks. This is what always happens. The person put that out on Twitter. Stephen A. Smith, host of First Take on his Twitter handle after the trade was announced that Cleveland got Donovan Mitchell and the New York Knicks did not get more of this with Stephen A. on First Take at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, happening later on today. I put out there, Stephen A. Smith, about your reaction on Twitter. This is what always happens. Now you have time to digest it. What are your thoughts still about Donovan Mitchell, now a Cavalier, and now the New York Knicks?
I'm utterly disgusted. I'm really ticked off about it. Listen, on its face, it seems like the Utah Jazz did a better deal. You got Sexton, you got Lauri Markkanen, you got 3 unprotected first-round picks. You get to swap another 2 or whatever. We get all of that. We understand that. Knicks have been on the call, on the phone with them for weeks. Knicks were talking about R.J. Barrett at one time. Obviously, it was Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, along with at least 3 picks, potentially 4. Utah didn't want Julius Randle. We get all of that. At the end of the day, from a basketball decision, you don't want to mortgage the farm if you're the New York Knicks, because Donovan Mitchell, without anybody to play beside us, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and I get all of that. My problem is this is more the same with the New York Knicks. Every time you're on the verge, or you appear to be on the verge of getting a star to come to this franchise, they end up going somewhere else. And for me, that's where it's a level of disgust that is hard for me to put into perspective, because I'm a lifelong Knicks fan and I'm unapologetically biased towards them, but I'm sick of the Bush League tactics. Like, for example, Utah is playing Dallas in the first round of the playoffs. The New York Knicks are sitting courtside. You pissed off Danny Ainge. Everybody that covers the NBA knows that. Everybody knows that Danny Ainge is walking around saying they could offer me the Empire State Building. I still might not do it, because they were disgusted because of those Bush League tactics. I've been repeatedly stating on the air, this ain't Kentucky. This is the NBA. This is not college basketball. You don't sit up there and sit courtside and you walking on the court and talking to players in an effort to try to recruit them, because that's how it's going to be interpreted, whether you were doing that or not. Okay? Those kind of things are the kind of things that hurt you as a franchise. It makes you look bad. You got an assistant coach in Rick Brunson. Rick Brunson and I go back to the 90s. I'm very happy he's on the New York Knicks staff. But you hired the father of Jalen Brunson, I apologize, a month before you bring on Jalen Brunson to the squad. You got the Dallas Mavericks contemplating tampering charges against you. Okay? You got a guy in Gershon Rojas that used to be in Minnesota. He's on the call for the New York Knicks instead of Leon Rose. See, these are the kind of things people don't realize. They don't hear enough about it. They don't know. But these are the kind of Bush League tactics that you don't hear about going on with other franchises. But somehow, some way, under the stewardship of James Dolan, arguably the worst owner in the NBA today, and clearly one of the worst in the history of the NBA, this is the kind of nonsense that you have going on. So as a New York Knicks fan, I'm going to take it differently, and I'm a bit disgusted, to say the least, and that's why I said what I said on Twitter.
So it sounds like to me you're not disagreeing with them passing on Donovan Mitchell, because they would have to strip down the team to a degree, and he would be the Lone Ranger until such due time somebody comes and rescues the situation. You're more disgusted at the fact that the organization doesn't seem to be running a certain way, and they can't get out of their own way, and they keep making these blundering mistakes. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that is what you're hearing. Because, see, the reason why that's so important, Key, is because if they did run their organization the way they were supposed to, maybe some of these deals would have happened, and Cleveland wouldn't have been in a position to come in through the back door and get a deal like this done at this particular moment in time. Because weeks ago, Cleveland wasn't on the phone. It was just the Knicks and Utah. And the Knicks were saying, okay, we gonna call their bluff, because they keep up in the ante or what have you. If you had better relationships, maybe that wouldn't happen. Think about what Danny Ainge got. Think about what Danny Ainge gave up to get KG years ago. Why? Because he had a relationship with Kevin McHale. They were former teammates, and they obviously go back years, and that facilitated a lot of deals. Think about some of the deals that have taken place in NBA history. Usually it's about relationships and organizational respect for one another.
Right.
The Knicks don't have that to their advantage.
So
and that's what we're looking at right here.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think that hiring someone that was in the agent community in Leon Rose and him assembling the sort of staff that he put together didn't have the necessarily relationships in the front office that front office people would have versus an agent?
Well, you can say that. That's one way to put it. What I would say to you is that it's not about an agent. It's about Leon Rose. Mm-hmm. This is the guy that talked to the media in September, and then you didn't hear from him again until April. And when you heard from him in April, it was an in-house interview with James Dolan's network. This is a guy that brought in Jalen Brunson, okay? And there was a press conference or wherever where Leon Rose was. This is a guy that refuses to answer questions about what direction he's taking the franchise in and why. And so when you don't have that level of accountability, ultimately it's going to trickle down to the players. They're not going to feel accountable. All of those things play a role. And when you look at the New York Knicks right now, that's how pathetic things are. And so to me, it's not about him being an agent. It's about him being him. Smart man, good man for the most part, but you've got a guy that used to run things in Minnesota that doesn't have an official position with the New York Knicks. He's on the phone talking with Danny Ainge instead of Leon Rose himself. So when you look at other things that are going on and you hear about this stuff in NBA circles, you wonder, you don't wonder, you actually laugh with other executives in the league who are laughing at the New York Knicks because of how they're being run. You got owners in the NBA that would give anything for James Dolan to sell this team because, remember, they engage in revenue sharing to some degree. And if the New York Knicks, even though they make a boatload of money, imagine how much money they would make if he knew what he was doing and they were successful. But you can't do that because James Dolan is running a franchise. And you got a president of basketball operations who literally is running and hiding from people so he doesn't have to answer questions and he doesn't have to be accountable for anything. This is the kind of nonsense that's going on with the New York Knicks organization, and that's what lends itself towards Kevin Durant calling them whack and corny and not cool, and other stars not even thinking about coming to New York City. That plays a role in all of this, as you well know, Keith.
Stephen A. Smith from First Take joining us this morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. And you can see Stephen A. on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with the great Molly Curran side by side. So, Stephen A., where do the Knicks go from here then? If you so upset and disgusted and all of that, because you can't come to the Lakers, so where do they go from here?
It's hard to answer that question because Jalen Brunson is an upgrade. Was he worth $104 million over 4 years? Averaging $26 million a year, I'm not sure about that, but I'm still happy that he's there because he's an upgrade. You retained R.J. Barrett. You gave him his extension. Julius Randle you wanted to get rid of, but you weren't able to do so, so you're going to have to live with him for the time being. Okay? All right. Well, all three of them want the basketball. How you going to handle that? Julius Randle hears boos from the crowd in New York City, and suddenly what he does is turn around, and instead of being strong and fast like he is and finishing at the basket, he's dribbling the ball through his legs and launching contested three-point shots. I don't know if that's going to lend itself towards the Knicks being better. You got a guy in Cam Reddish. Everybody in the organization is happy that the Knicks went and got Cam Reddish and basically gave up nothing for him to get him from the Atlanta Hawks. Everybody was happy about Cam Reddish but Tom Thibodeau. So what does Tom Thibodeau do? He takes his ball and goes home, figuratively speaking, by refusing to give Cam Reddish minutes and develop this man, even though everybody else in the organization wanted him. So you have a situation right now, I don't know what direction the New York Knicks goes in because it appears that you got too many people that ain't on the same page right now. And when I look at it from that perspective, again, you 37 and 45, I could see that being duplicated. But let's say for the sake of argument that they're a little bit better, which I would be very, very happy about. Let's go down the list. You got Milwaukee. You got Brooklyn, you got Miami, you got Boston, you got Philly, you got Toronto, okay? I might be forgetting somebody right now, Atlanta Hawks, okay? You got that going on, and now Cleveland. I easily gave you 8 to 9 teams better than the New York Knicks right now. So I'm sitting here hoping and praying that the New York Knicks are good enough to make it to the play-in game with a top 10 seed. No, I'm not happy about that.
Father, how's your shoulder, brother?
Man, ain't nothing wrong with his shoulder.
Yes,
Shoulder's coming along.
Good.
You know better than that, Keith.
Ain't nothing wrong with his shoulder. Nothing's wrong with his shoulder.
You know he knows better, but he doesn't know better. You know how that goes.
Look, here's how I know nothing's wrong with his shoulder. because I've watched him go in his pockets and pull out them big old thick wallets with the big old thick black cards and stuff. I've seen it.
He's such a liar. He's such a liar. That is not true.
Man, wallet's so thick and big and heavy, it's like a brick.
See, this is what he says. This is what he says. Okay. I remember that, but I can't say anything because every time when Key and I go out, he makes me treat. So he is under this false illusion that I got all of this money.
So if anybody's
it's not true. It's not true.
So if anybody's shoulder's hurting, Stephen A. is his, not yours, right?
That's right. Keyshawn the one throwing pool parties. You understand what I'm saying? In his mansion with mountain lions coming out and chilling in the backyard like they it's a part of their code. I mean, that's what he's doing. You know, I ain't doing that.
Hey, one of the little mountain lions got killed the other day, man. Trying to cross the freeway, Stephen A. Stop!
Oh, I don't wish that on them. I don't wish that on them, but I do think that something deserves to happen to them if they strolling in people's backyard.
Hey, so check this out, though. You'll laugh at this before we let you go, Stephen A., and get to work on ESPN First Take. So a mountain lion got killed crossing the 101 freeway. Now, they have the monitor detectors on it so they know the name, the whole deal. But check this out. Right. We're spending money. We getting ready to spend money as a city and a county and a state to build a bridge across the freeways so they can roam on the bridge instead of trying to cross the freeway. Ain't that something?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But, let me tell you something. Something is wrong with L.A. Something is the weather, the sunshine, it's just addictive. I get it. But these politicians, and then Gavin Newsom got the nerve to be sitting up there and running campaign ads in Florida.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Come to us, whatever, with all of them damn taxes in California. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
All right, go do your show, man.
Go do your thing, Stephen A.
All right, man. Y'all be good, man.
You too.
Steven. Yeah, we building a bridge, Freddie.
For mountain lions.
Well, for the wildlife. They didn't necessarily. They said the mountain lions because the mountain lions and animals try to cross the freeway.
Sure.
Because the freeway is in between two mountains.
Okay.
And so they're actually building a bridge only for the cats and stuff, not for cars, not for humans. This bridge is for the animals to be able to cross from one side of the mountain to the other side. I was sitting there saying, what is that going to cost?
That gives new meaning to the term circle of life.
Let their ass go around the mountain.
Hey, they care more about taking care of Simba Mufasa than Keyshawn and his family here. And Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max, presented by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with Renters Insurance. Do yourself a favor. Cross that bridge and visit Progressive.com.
Breaking news. The Broncos and Russell Wilson. 5 years, $245 million extension. Yeah, but how much is the guarantee? $165.
They're recorrecting the market. Lamar will come in around $200 million fully guaranteed.
It is Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max with Keyshawn Johnson. I'm Freddie Coleman. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Radio. Kick it with us on the ESPN app and tell your smart speaker, just say play ESPN Radio. So Russell Wilson, when he goes back to Seattle, he's going to have a whole bunch of money in his pocket with his brand new team when Denver takes on Seattle opening weekend. Let's talk to the man who played for that organization, and now it does a great job covering the Seattle Seahawks. He is Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon. Hit him on Twitter at WMoon1. It's one thing to get an extension, Warren Moon, when it comes to $165 million in guaranteed money. But how surprised were you that you heard that the Seahawks did not give Russell Wilson the extension, but the Broncos gave him an extra 5 years in his contract?
You know, I wasn't surprised. I think the two kind of grew tired of each other here. I know Russell was here for 10 years. He did a great job here. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler while he was here, went to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. And he was the model citizen here in Seattle, but I think he wanted to move on, and I think at the end, the Seahawks probably wanted him to move on as well. I don't think they were going to commit to that type of money for that long. They know him a little bit better than everybody else does, but the Denver Broncos have been looking for a franchise quarterback for a long time, since Peyton Manning left, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. So I think they got their guy, and they had to pay him in order to get him there. I think this was a deal that was probably agreed to even, well before the trade happened. That if you go and get Russell Wilson, you're going to have to make this type of commitment to him. And Russell kind of targeted Denver as one of those teams he wanted to go to. So I think Denver knew they were going to have to do this in order to make him happy.
Warren, you played the position clearly in the Hall of Famer and did it well. I wish I could have had your left arm throwing to me instead of your right, but it would have made my career a lot better.
Oh, you had a pretty good one.
Thank you. But when you look at situations in the quarterback room in particular, and I was telling Freddie and the guys, I've never seen, me personally, have never seen a Super Bowl winning quarterback like Russell Wilson, then appeared in another Super Bowl, 9-time Pro Bowler, face of an organization and a franchise in the prime of his career. No matter what the situation is, the hostility between the 2, 3, whatever, power struggle, never seen a guy get shipped out. They've always retained that guy, whether it's begging Aaron Rodgers to come back and figuring it out, or just looking at how long teams have held on to those Super Bowl type quarterbacks until the end. Why did they just decide in the end we can't deal with Russell anymore? We're not going to try to hold on to him.
Again, I think part of it was they didn't want to make that long-term commitment for those type of dollars, and then I think Russell had a lot to do with it too. He wanted to move on. He wanted to go to another organization and maybe try it again somewhere else, and maybe he thought he could get more control on the offensive side of the ball, play for an offensive-minded coach where he felt like he could be a bigger part of the offense. So I think, again, they just came to a point where they weren't on the same page, and you got to have a quarterback and an organization on the same page in order for things to work.
Well, we saw him win early in his